All right, hello and welcome to today's virtual Ontario Trillium Foundation recognition event. Before we get started, I'm going to begin with our land acknowledgement. If you will join me for a moment of reflection. I encourage you to close your eyes or look out the window and allow it to center and ground yourself as we begin our gathering today. The seasons are changing, the leaves have fallen, and the world around us is seemingly letting go and taking pause, relishing in a moment of rest. The Halton Youth Initiative is also in this season, wrapping up and taking pause. As we share our story here today and in a couple other avenues, please know that we have been intentionally planting seeds for new growth and initiatives in the hearts and minds of our youth volunteers and community partners. Let us now pause to reflect and remember that our Kids Network is situated on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Huron-Wendat. Now home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, we also acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, with gratitude. So my name's Lily Viggiano, and I'm the project coordinator for the Halton Youth Initiative. I joined the organization in February 2019, and it has been an incredible experience. I'm happy to introduce our guests here today. Effie Triampholopoulos, MPP for Oakville, North-Burlington. Mike Blair, Ontario Trillium Foundation volunteer. Christine Hartley, Executive Director, Our Kids Network. And we have some video clips from Tanvi, Manku, and Amber Siddiqui, youth leaders from the Halton Youth Initiative. All right, so let's see who is speaking first. So Mike Blair, if you'd like to go ahead.
Thanks, Lily. Good morning, everyone. I hope you and all your families are staying safe and healthy. My name is Mike Blair. I'm a volunteer with the Ontario Trillium Foundation, and I'd like to congratulate your organization on the impact of your GROW grant in your communities. The Ontario Trillium Foundation is an agency of the Government of Ontario and one of the largest grant-making foundations in Canada. And thanks to the Ontario government, each year we're able to award over 600 grants to nonprofit organizations that are doing great work in communities across the province. In 2018, the Children's Aid Society of the Regional Municipality of Halton, the Secretariat for Our Kids Network, received a $571,800 grant for over 36 months to assist with staffing and program costs to expand the Our Kids Network in North Oakville, Acton, Milton, and Aldershot through the Halton Youth Initiative. With the Halton Youth Initiative, your organization was able to elevate youth voice and empower volunteers aged 12 to 17 by supporting their positive development. The project will be completed in December of 2021 and will have reached over 57,420 young people with a legacy that will be felt in Halton for years to come. Thank you for inviting me to your recognition event. With the pandemic, we know that it hasn't been easy for nonprofit organizations like yours. I can see the impact this GROW grant has in helping continue your hard work in our community, and I'll look forward to sharing your story with my fellow OTF volunteers. Thank you for contributing to building a vibrant and healthier Ontario, and once again, congratulations on the success of your program with the grant.
That's great. Thank you, Mike. Up next, we've got Christine Hartley, the Executive Director from Our Kids Network.
Thank you, Lily, and thank you, Mike, for those kind words. I am really happy to be here today with all of you to talk a little bit about the impact of the Halton Youth Initiative. The first Trillium grant was a seed grant, and that was awarded in 2015 to North Halton, which had been identified as a vulnerable neighborhood with great opportunities and potential. Through a number of different youth engagement mechanisms, such as focus groups, over a 2-year period, that engagement, key themes emerged to increase awareness of local resources to a youth audience, to increase awareness of topics that matter to youth, and to collaborate with community partners to increase positive youth hangout space. The success of that seed grant translated into another grant that Mike was speaking about, the GROW grant, which was awarded in 2018, with the expansion to include Aldershot, Acton, and Milton, as well as North Halton. The goal of this grant was to elevate youth voices and to empower volunteers aged 12 to 17 to have an impact in their communities. During these past 3 years, this goal has been achieved and surpassed in a number of ways. Initially, the Halton Youth Initiative facilitated in-person shared power by holding meetings at hub locations and the Oak Park Neighborhood Center, by challenging growth in youth leaders, which were recruited through outreach in the school system, Volunteer Halton, and our hub connections. Express care by connecting with adult allies who acted as supports through role modeling, giving feedback, mentoring, and providing guidance related to youth leadership, both in and outside of meetings. And expanded possibilities for youth by connecting them with additional key stakeholders who shared their experience on specific projects and community events. The initiative, as we've heard, was going extremely well and then was impacted by a global pandemic. The team quickly moved to a virtual framework, which dissolved geographic barriers, a strength-based approach that nurtured existing relationships, kept the initiative operating, growing, and building momentum. Remarkably, youth participation increased during the pandemic. 5 virtual teams were organized to focus on the OTF goals. The youth self-selected which team they wanted to participate on. Each of the teams followed a similar structure, which included weekly Zoom meetings. Some of the key outcomes from this initiative are, as Mike said, over 50,000 youth have been reached. Over 300 youth volunteers have participated in each of the 3 years. Over 50 community partners have worked with the youth, participated with the youth, learned from the youth. 30 special events have occurred and 30 projects and campaigns have been undertaken. Over 70 videos are hosted on the Halton Youth Initiative YouTube channel, and over 100 youth provided input into this evaluation of the project and its future sustainability. While the numbers are impressive, the depth of the relationships and the shifts of perspectives in both the young people and the adults connected to this project is the truest marker of its success. Friendships, mentorships, and team players emerged. Youth found themselves, honed in on their strength, and learned about the world around them. Adults met the youth where they were at and taught and learned and exemplified the pillars of developmental relationships. This significant investment from the Trillium Foundation resulted in many positive outcomes and positions the communities and Halton as a whole to continue and expand this important work, resulting in a Halton where all youth are heard, valued, and thrive. Thank you.
Great. And up next, we have Effie Triampholopoulos, the MPP from Oakville, North-Burlington.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be able to join you. I'm delighted to be able to participate in this wonderful announcement of $571,800 of the Trillium Foundation of Ontario, providing a grant to the Children's Aid Society of Halton and the Secretariat for Our Kids Network. I think that this kind of support for this organization demonstrates how important the voice of youth is in our community. The youth truly are our future, and I'm always very, very impressed when I'm able to speak with members of our community and our youth, because you hear they have a passion, they have wonderful, innovative ideas. They believe in our community, they believe in our province and our country, and more importantly, it's a generation that believes in themselves. So from my perspective, being able to empower the voice of youth and volunteers is critical, I think, to our own success as a community. I know that this particular grant is a steer towards the ages of 12 to 17. I've met an awful lot of young people in that age group in our community, and I can tell how brimming with life they are, how they support each other, how they address some of our social issues directly, including anti-bullying and some of those other issues that from time to time may be systemic, and we sometimes need to be able to shine a light on. So I'm particularly pleased to see how engaged youth in our community is, and I want to applaud them and celebrate them and hope that they continue to bring that voice and passion to everything they do as they become young adults. And I want to also recognize the Ontario Trillium Foundation for the grant that they gave so generously for this endeavor. So thank you for allowing me to participate today with you.
Thank you so much, Effie, for joining us today. We're going to take a few moments now to hear from some of our youth leaders. They've submitted video clips talking about the impact that the Halton Youth Initiative has had with the generosity of the Ontario Trillium Foundation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Siddiqui, and I'm a grade 12 student in the Halton region who has been volunteering with the Halton Youth Initiative since July 2019. This year, I got the opportunity to help lead the Equity Breakout team, and I even got to fulfill my social justice SHISM requirement by completing my co-op at Our Kids Network this summer. When I applied to the open volunteer position on the Milton Youth Action Team the summer before my sophomore year of high school, I will admit that I was just merely trying to fulfill the graduation volunteering requirement. In the 2 years since then, however, being a Halton Youth Initiative volunteer has become so important in my life. Being a Halton Youth Initiative volunteer has provided me with a sense of pride and identity. Since I joined the HYI, I have learned countless life skills and lessons. I learned how to schedule, prepare for, and facilitate engaging volunteer meetings. I learned how to organize, plan for, and host successful community events and fundraisers. I even learned how to build strong and healthy relationships with other youth and adults. Volunteer meetings, projects, and initiatives all eventually come to an end, but the memories that are made on these teams last forever. It is crucial for youth well-being and for community development in Halton that young people understand the importance of volunteering and are given opportunities to volunteer beyond the scope of 40 hours required for graduation. In the words of Viggiano, who I have been volunteering with since the very beginning of this journey, in elections, we vote just once a year and are rarely involved in any of the decisions that come after that. But with volunteering, every time you get involved in your community is a vote for what kind of place you want to live in. So it's time for us to reflect. What kind of world do we want to live in?
Hello, my name is Tanvi Manku, and I am a grade 12 student. I have been volunteering with the Halton Youth Initiative since January 2020, and personally, it has been an enriching journey. I started my journey as a volunteer with the Halton Youth Initiative by writing blogs. These blogs were based on Search Institute's Developmental Relationships Framework. We were able to raise awareness about important local events in the community as well as resources available for youth. I attended our Deep Dive series, like Your Reconciliation Journey, and The Time Is Now. I worked with other passionate youth to learn and reflect on the impacts of our actions, both good and bad, in topics like truth and reconciliation and climate change. I became a youth leader in September 2020 for Team Motivations. Since we were in the middle of the pandemic, our primary focus was on youth mental health. We launched the Motivation Monday project by posting resources and hosting virtual events to express our care and provide support for mental well-being. We also hosted a community discussion about mental wellness and self-care for Mental Health Week. Currently, I'm leading a team that is working on creating a new organization called the Halton Youth Voices Council, based on the goals set by the Halton Youth Initiative. We are collaborating with several different organizations in Halton to help us amplify youth voices in the community. The Halton Youth Initiative has made a tremendous impact in the community and helped volunteers like me build a stronger sense of self and forge healthy relationships with our peers. By writing blogs, I improved my communication skills. I learned to stand up for my beliefs by participating in the Deep Dive series. Through team motivations, I learned to be a better collaborator and leader. Establishing the Halton Youth Voices Council has pushed me to further my critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Each volunteer at the Halton Youth Initiative has had a unique experience. What is common in all of our experiences is the invaluable lessons we learn that we would use in all aspects of our lives. All of this would not be possible without the generous support of the Ontario Trillium Foundation. I wish to thank them for investing in the youth and providing us a strong foundation for our present and our future. Your invaluable support has helped us conduct countless initiatives. On behalf of the Halton Youth Initiative, we are grateful for all the support and opportunities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, HYI, for giving me a chance and adopting me in the pandemic, a really tough time in my life, and making me into a better leader and person in general.
Thank you for giving me a chance to see other faces online, and also just for allowing me to improve really in just group settings, because I went from the quiet kid to now just helping out in the group and actually speaking during it and even help leading sometimes. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ontario Trillium Foundation.
So those were some of our reflections from our youth leaders. I really, I just want to commend them one last time for all of their efforts. And, you know, you can just hear the confidence in their voice and the impact. So I hope that translated well to each of our viewers and our people in the meeting today.